Okay, Ray, thank you for attend this conversation because I really shy actually to ask you to speak here because my English is not good, but I want to learn and I want to polish my English. So, but I always wonder why the Philippines speak fluently in English. Even I watch TNT boys, TNT boys. They are kid, but they speak English very well. I think so. I just wonder how the Philippines can be such good like that.
Actually, because probably with our education, I guess, because if you study like in elementary and in even the entire basic education for that matter, you really have to use English, like in chemistry, in physics,
Mm.
in math. All subjects actually are delivered in English. So it's quite difficult really to have our mother tongue there. Although actually mother tongue is also being used in school. And in fact, right now there is a mother tongue subject with them.
Mm. So
Yeah.
since beginning from the elementary school, you use English as the language.
Yeah. We use English actually, and even Filipino, it's just one subject. I could recall back in my elementary days that we have even history is in English.
Why?
So even the names of our heroes and even the folk heroes and whatnot are all spelled out partly maybe in English. I don't know really, but yeah, our history even is in English. And also maybe it's because in the household, most of the food that we have are also called in English. Like for example, like hot dogs. I mean, there's really a lot of American influence
Mm,
probably.
yeah.
That's why.
Talking about the history, so how I think once Philippines is invaded by Spain, is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We were colonized by Spain and occupied for like 300 years or so.
Is
Yeah,
it
and
influence your language?
yeah, actually Filipino adopted a lot of Spanish words.
Mm.
And even some family names here are sort of Spanish.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
for
yeah.
example, my middle name is Cadiz, which is actually also a city in Spain.
Mm.
So yeah, there is such an influence. And earlier on, I could recall that my mother and my father are actually having Spanish classes before. And it was just in the 1950s, 1960s. So eventually Spanish went away with our culture probably. And most of the things that we are studying are now in English.
Can you speak Spanish?
No, no, I think it's already off my system. I mean, my parents can speak Spanish a little bit. My dad actually was a bit fluent in Spanish, hablo español bien, but not me. I'm only confident with my English and probably Filipino.
But generally in the Filipinos, the same as you, never use Spanish anymore.
Yeah, most of us are no longer speaking Spanish, although there is a region in Mindanao, that's the
Mm.
southernmost portion of the Philippines, wherein they have this Chavacano. It's a language
Mm.
that is being said as one of the oldest Spanish Creole languages, and it
Mm.
still actually survives as one of their local dialects there. But the rest of the Philippines, I guess Spanish has died out a bit.
Compared to Tagalog, is English has the same pronunciation? I mean, consonant, because in Indonesia it's different.
Actually, it's also different. We don't
Mm.
have a letter C in Tagalog per se. We use letter K.
Mm.
Yeah, like for example, when you say makisig, that is actually an adjective for a strong young boy.
Mm.
But when you spell it out, it doesn't have a letter C in it, although we can use letter C in the modern alphabet that we have. And actually, because of the Spanish influence, that's why we have more letters in the Filipino language than usual. Because
Mm,
before, Filipino is actually very phonetic in nature. So whatever the letter is, that's the sound. And then
mm,
Spanish kind of entered, and it had a lot of letters, and it had each letter had different sounds.
okay.
And then in terms of comparing it with English, it's also a bit different because in English there's like a lot of letters. I mean, it's 26 letters in the English alphabet, but the way you pronounce it, there's a lot. It
Yeah.
differs for every word, and it also differs in terms of context.
Okay.
So yeah.
About that, when you have when you taught the phonetics, yeah, the phonetics of that English language, how they taught you?
Oh, so they actually taught us letter by letter. I could remember in kindergarten, and even right now, because my nephew is in kindergarten, so it's a sort of review. So we are actually being taught first of the vowels. So there
Mm,
is A, E, I, O, and U. So we say A, E, O, U.
mm,
Then we complement it with the other consonants. Then we proceed with letter B. So we now go with ba, be, bi, bo, bu. And then there's letter C, there's ka, ke, ki, ko, ku, and so on
mm,
until the letter Z. So that's how we learn the basics. And then eventually, when we are more acquainted with the sound, then we go now with complex words. But
mm.
first with those one syllable words, like for example, there's cat, there's dog, there's boy, there's girl. Then eventually we go to two syllable words. So most of the words are being taught by syllable. And then
Mm.
the older we grow, and the harder it actually gets. And even now, I could still learn new words in English that I only
Mm.
encountered at work.
Do you
Yeah.
learn IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet? I mean, the sounds like it's written in the dictionary.
Actually, I'm not really sure if that is being taught generally, but
Mm,
in terms of major, maybe like if you are an English major, so yeah, you have to study that. And
okay.
we also have English as second language as a degree here. So it's not really that we are using English firsthand, but we are actually also studying it, and we're just forced a bit to learn it because that's how we are using it in school, and that's how we could actually connect with other people in the world.
So you learn it naturally.
Yeah. And even the movies, I mean, we are fond of watching Hollywood movies, so that's
Mm,
probably a bonus because one way that we could actually enhance our English is really by watching movies.
yeah. But funny things that I watch movie from my childhood, but I cannot speak English very well like you. And most of Indonesian, I think, have the same problem. Um, my experience, I learned English from beginning. I mean, from the elementary school, my mom sent me to the private teacher
Right?
to learn, yeah, to learn English. But you know, I don't know why I cannot speak so well. I mean, maybe for maybe I can speak but it's not too fluent, and not too accurate. I mean, when if I say that I learn, maybe I've learned English is already for 30 years. I mean, it's more than 30 years. But do you think you have suggestion how to master English so you can be fluent and
Yeah.
accurate?
Well, actually, with that, I would really suggest taking up roles where you are forced to speak English. yeah, I guess that's one thing that I really had to learn, because
Mm,
I when I was younger, I usually write, and during my college years I was a writer then for
mm,
our school paper, so there was actually no speaking, and
mm,
I'm not also confident with my English when I speak, because some people are actually very brilliant when they write in English, but when they
mm.
speak it's a different story.
Yes, yes.
So what I actually did maybe that improved my skill in speaking English is really by taking up roles that would require me to speak. Like I do a lot of hosting for events. I do some I also become the secretariat for meetings from
Mm,
where I work. So I have to conduct the introductions and all those formalities. So in that way, I actually learned to deliver English well. And that's also one thing that I developed is to speak while you're thinking of what you're about to speak next. Because for us, I mean, we are practically not really expected to be speaking English a lot, because we have our own languages, right?
mm.
So it's actually more of just trying to speak, and then you just engage yourself to speaking English, and then eventually it will just be in your system.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes when I speak in English, I lost words, you know.
Yeah, me too. I also actually do experience that,
But you,
especially.
but you say still speak Tagalog.
Yes, I speak Tagalog, and especially when I deal with people from Manila, wherein most of our head offices are located. So we are really in a way forced to also learn Tagalog, although that's not also our native tongue,
Mm,
because I'm from an island in the middle of the Philippines, and we speak Hiligaynon, and it's a dialect here, and it's actually different from Tagalog all throughout
mm,
in terms of construction, in terms of sounds. It's different, and we also have that certain tone in our dialect.
mm,
So when we first come into Manila and then we speak Tagalog, then there's really that strange accent on our Tagalog words.
mm. So
Yeah.
you have three languages. You can
Yeah,
speak three languages.
I can speak three languages. That's Hiligaynon, then Tagalog or Filipino, and then English.
Mm, that's good.
Yeah.
When Tagalog is not taught in school, so how do you learn that?
Actually, Tagalog is learned in school as well. It's what we call Filipino as a
Mm,
subject, and we learn the basics actually, and then eventually it will be more inclined to literature, to Philippine literature, not
mm,
anymore with the actual speaking and the writing part.
okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's more what you call it. It's more original when you learn from the literature
Yeah.
rather than when you from conversation because language is developed. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sometimes in Indonesia now is more influenced by English language also. So
Yeah.
I've heard back to the history, but America is also have much influence in the Philippines.
Yes. Yeah, like a lot of influence actually on our food choices, on our on our activities or on our holidays. We celebrate Christmas, we celebrate some things like our Independence Day is like a big event, just like in the US, where and they have the 4th of July. So we
Mm,
also have that in but on June 12th.
okay. One thing, the Filipinos, most of them is have a good voice. Do you have good voice also?
Good voice for speaking, I guess,
No,
but
I
not.
mean for singing.
No. I maybe a lot of Filipinos are good at singing, but maybe not me. You know, when puberty strike, that's a different story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to know about your international environment. I mean, we met at international seminar.
Yeah.
Is and you said that it's not your first time in international event. And do you often attend that international seminar?
Well, actually, on a personal level, I've been to Japan and I've been to United Arab Emirates for conferences and for
Mm,
an exchange program. So that was way back in 2016 where I went to Japan. And you know what? It's actually a good thing that I started my trip there because when you are actually in other countries, it doesn't really mean that you have to speak English that well. I mean,
mm,
it's expected of us that we might have a different accent probably.
mm,
And yeah, so it was just a moment for me to also just be who I am and maybe just speak the limited vocabulary I had back then. And I also appreciated the part wherein, actually not really the entirety of Japan knows English, because we actually went to the countryside and they were even the simple hi hellos in English were not really understandable for them. So that
mm,
is somehow an eye opener as well to me, that it's not really just English out there, but it's really the deeds that we do to the people there when you express that you're welcoming and when you're friendly. That's the actual language. Actually, it's not really
yeah,
the words that we utter. So
that's
yeah.
good point of view.
Yeah.
So you have go abroad to Japan and to
The
Emirates,
Emirates.
but have you go to English speak English
Well,
speaker?
the country that I've been that's been speaking English probably as the main language of sort is Singapore and the Emirates, because people there actually speak English and it's
Mm,
pretty normal among them.
mm,
And when I went to the United Arab Emirates, actually, it was a conference, so I had to really speak English. And I had to, sometimes I need to be faster because people whose language is really English, they want us to speak fast, because if we speak slowly, they cannot get it actually. And then there are also some people there where I met, like, for example, if their language is Spanish or if their language is French, they want us to slow down. So actually, it's more of a understanding who you are talking to actually, and it's
mm.
not really just boasting that you are good in English and you can just speak fast
Yeah,
or speak slowly. It's a
yeah.
matter of using English to communicate with each other. Then when I came to Singapore, it was also different
Mm,
because their English is a bit mixed with Chinese.
mm.
So
Singlish.
they have, yeah, the Singlish. You had to speak at a different accent as well. There is la at almost every sentence that you can speak. So yeah, it's actually fun to learn how English is
Yeah, yeah,
being.
yeah. But
Yeah.
is it common TOEFL and IELTS test in your country, or they have their own standard about English ability?
Actually, even us Filipinos are burdened of taking IELTS and TOEFL and all those other international English tests.
Mm,
If we wish to work abroad or maybe emigrate or whatever, we really have to take IELTS. Like, for example, if you want to apply for a scholarship to Britain, or if
mm,
you're applying even for a scholarship in Japan, you really have to have that proof that you are fluent or in English based on your IELTS or TOEFL scores. And in fact, even though that we are, all of our subjects are being taught in English, it's still being required.
mm. But you ever taken the IELTS test?
Actually, I haven't taken it yet.
Okay.
And I'm
TOEFL?
actually TOEFL, no. Actually, I haven't taken any international test, and I'm
Okay.
a bit afraid as well, because it was a bit difficult for my brother when he went to Canada. It's a difficult, especially actually in speaking.
Mm,
That's one takeaway I could get from my brother, because when you write, there's no accent, there's nothing really to be worried about. But
mm,
when you're speaking, you have to deliver it with the right facial expressions. When you say you're excited, you need to smile and you need to show that you're excited, because if it's our second language, we cannot really express or match our facial expressions with the words that we're saying.
mm.
So that's one takeaway for the IELTS.
Okay. So you don't have any plan to go abroad using the international test?
Maybe soon, if I have an opportunity to study abroad, maybe. But for now, since there's pandemic and there's this new variant that we're also trying to contain, so probably not this year or maybe next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your subject when you in college or university?
Actually, I'm a civil engineer by profession, and I specialize in transportation engineering.
Okay, that's
Yeah. And it's a very weird choice, actually, if I could share it,
why.
because all the while I was actually planning to become a chemical engineer. But then there was this line, there was this queue, and there was this professor that who said that they had no freshman student for chemical engineering.
Mm,
So I heard it. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I heard what she said. And that really went into my system. And then I said, oh my gosh, if I am going to enroll in chemical engineering, there is a very high possibility that I'm the only one who will enroll, and I will probably graduate alone. So
mm,
because I was scared, I enrolled in civil engineering together with my friend,
mm.
and then the rest was history. And I did learn how to love the field and the work that is aligned with my degree.
Okay, this nice story.
Yeah, it's actually very nice each time I remember it.
I once I send you language similarity language between Indonesian and Philippines. I think because we have the different conquers. I mean, you in you what do you call it?
um
Uh,
Colonizer, maybe.
Colonize, yes, colonize. I missed the
Yeah.
word. Colonized by Spain, and we are colonized by Dutch. So it makes
Oh,
our language different.
yeah, a
So
bit different.
yeah, maybe at first we can communicate each other because historically, like Sulu is part of
Yeah,
Philippine also.
yeah. I actually believe that together with the island parts of Southeast Asia are actually very much tied
Mm.
before everyone from the external world entered.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually I could remember that there was this alphabet, maybe ancient alphabet, that it was common between from the Indonesian side, from the Malaysian side, and the Filipino side. There was
Mm.
actually some commonalities there, and even in the way the vowels are spoken, the consonants as well. But then when the colonizers went in,
Colonizers.
yeah, and they went with their cultures and with their language, then everything actually changed.
So it's like uh did you watch Raya Dragon, The Last Dragon?
I haven't yet, but I heard that it was a bit Southeast Asian in terms of
Yeah, it's
inspiration.
like yeah, I think it's good. So I think today I believe that Southeast Asia is more solid than before. We can respect each other,
Yeah.
and I I often watch Philippines YouTuber who lives in Indonesia, Nepi Nepi Akalang, yeah, Nepi Akalang, and because you said that there are no C in your consonant, yeah, uh,
Yeah.
the writing is Acalang, yeah, but we said it's Akalang, yeah. Is that so?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because letter C is actually adapted. Like even in my family name, you can see there's a letter C in my family name. It's
Mm,
Makalalag. It's not
mm,
Machalalag.
mm.
But and it's actually influenced by Spanish actually.
Okay. Oh yeah,
But
yeah. The
yeah,
C
we have
in Spain is read with K.
yeah, yeah. It's with K. And I think with the Dutch it's with a
C.
sound of CH, something like that.
Yes,
Cha.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the YouTuber that you mentioned, I'm not really sure if he is as popular as he is there in Indonesia, because I've heard that there are some Filipinos who are actually shining in
Mm.
Indonesia but are not that much heard of here in the Philippines, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
There are some people like that.
Even they change the citizenship, such as Maribeth. I think when I asked to my friend from the Philippines, he she didn't know Maribeth.
Yeah. I mean, although that we are all from the Philippines, some people are really shine even
Mm,
before that they are recognized as Filipinos. Like even in Hollywood, there are some stars and there are some singers that are actually identified as Latino or Latina, but
mm,
didn't actually have the roots of being Filipino. So it's
mm,
also a bit of a racial issue maybe in the Western world, but
mm.
it's also something that challenges our identity as Asians as well.
Yeah, yeah. Your uh, talking about the singer, the Filipinos have a powerful voice.
Not me. I
Yeah,
had to
my friend
hear it.
also cannot sing. She said that no, I cannot sing. But in my opinion, the Filipinos is very into to the singer competition or even beauty
Pageant.
pageant.
Yes. Yes, I can really say that beauty pageants are very central to Filipinos. Like if you're here in the Philippines and like for example, it during the time when it was Miss Universe, when Pia
Mm.
Wurtzbach, the controversial win of the
Yeah, yeah.
Philippines in Miss Universe, it was really a big thing, and it was like a big festival when she arrived here in the Philippines. Like
Mm,
there were establishments which were purposely closed just to just for the workers to participate in the welcoming, something like that. Well, I'm not really sure as to why, but Filipinos are really just fun loving people. Where the fun is, where we'll be there.
yeah, maybe it's just like Spanish people, I guess. The Latinos people also have
Yeah,
like very like party.
party. Yes, Filipinos are in for parties, and the parties do not end at 8 or 9. We end in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Ray, I think I want to speak more actually, but my brain is exhausted because I should speak English. So in Indonesian, if I have a podcast like this, I can talk for hour, but my limit English make me um, that my brain is like drained because of our conversation.
But actually, if I could say something about how you speak, it's actually pretty much okay. I mean, we have Filipinos who actually speak the same way as you do,
Mm,
and even myself included actually started out something in that level. Actually, it's just a matter of learning and
yeah,
watching,
yeah.
even
The-
listening to music.
okay, but the
And
music, the language of the lyric is different between the lyric, the actual conversation.
yeah, yeah,
So sometimes I cannot understand what the meaning of the um, music of the lyric of the song. And
yeah,
but I think I heard also that it's happened to the native speaker.
yeah.
Sometimes they cannot understand what the lyrics.
Yeah, because sometimes it gets distorted, especially when you're rapping music.
Mm,
You know, I don't know if you're familiar with Nicki Minaj. I mean, she's popular in
yeah, yeah,
music
yeah.
and she raps very, very fast. So even I would not really comprehend a lot of the words that she's been rapping about. It's difficult to catch up. Yeah.
So do you still try to learn English in today, or I think you said that it's enough.
I cannot really say that it's enough because when I'm working, I usually encounter some new words and sometimes
Mm,
some new terms. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
working in the government, I mean, I really have to be ready when I speak to other, especially people from other countries.
Mm,
So I also learn how people would deliver their talks or their speeches, how to slow down, how to be speaking and ensuring a good flow of the conversation. That's also something that I'm trying to learn. So that's why when you invited me here, I'm also excited to also, this is also a way of me testing my skills if I am able to speak correctly as well.
yeah. Thank you. Maybe in another time we can speak and talk about something else,
Yeah, sure.
not about language.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about other things and I like food maybe, or yeah, anything that you could remember. Maybe I will have something to share about it.
Okay. I think that's enough for today. Just like I said, my brain is drained because I have to practicing English more, but I think it's enough for today.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Thank you for your
Thank you for having me.
yeah, for here. I will
Yes.
stop.